MSD Intervention Design. So we're designing an access to finance intervention for women-owned micro-enterprises. And I am doing this to demonstrate exactly what it is that we do in market systems, how our interventions reduce poverty. And these are the things that we do in our market systems, So we started this discussion 4 episodes ago, and we discussed extensively what the problem is, the access to finance problem, and the next phase of our consideration in market systems is to be very clear what the current state of affairs is for our beneficiaries and what the future, we have to have a vision about the future state of affairs. The transition from the current state to the future state requires a logic. And inside of that logic, there are elements that we really need to focus on. First, as we discussed yesterday, is the signposting, meaning what are the things that would tell us that we are making progress towards our primary objective. The next thing we really need to consider is the sequencing, activity sequence. Do we have the right sequence at this? Or we need to understand exactly what the sequence, what the impact of that sequence may be. Does one thing have to happen before the next, or do we have activities running concurrently? What activities are we responsible for as development project, and our partners? Which one of the activities are they responsible for? Now, as you can see on my screen, under my map, in which market systems do we intervene? This is a particularly important question. And the reason it's important is, typically in any constraints, there are multiple market systems that one can design an intervention to change. And it is in selecting that market system, we have to consider the time that we have, the primary and the budget that we have in order to be able to effect change in the market systems in a way that will benefit our beneficiaries. So in our own case, the access to finance case, we have 3 systems. The obvious system the obvious system is the financial services system. How can we make financial services system more inclusive to the extent that it will benefit our women-owned enterprises? The other service that that's an option for us is the business development service system. So we established that it's important that our women-owned micro-enterprises have the skill to manage these enterprises for growth. So we need services to help them achieve this skill or to have this capacity. The question then is this a lot more effective? Is this a good system to focus on, change the behavior here, and hopefully we then get an inclusive financial services? The other system option that we have is technology service system. What has happened in various sectors in the economy is that we have technology that's driven productivity, proximity, has collapsed learning curve. So, and the accessibility of this technology services is becoming wider and wider and a lot more effective. So we have to choose from, depending on the budget and time that we have to select which one of this as a system we intervene in. But in this fictional business case that we're working on, we will intervene in the technologies services system. And this is because it is a lot more cost effective. It reduces the level of investment that potential partners need to invest in, and it is a lot more efficient and cost efficient for our beneficiaries. So the technologies have, the technology services have created things like software as a service that will really increase the skills or the build capacity of our women-owned enterprises. The other thing that it does is that some of this some of the software as a service systems are actually providing financial services alongside building enterprise skills. So the technology system then can be a really good system to intervene in order to resolve an access to finance intervention or constraints. Now, this is important. I'm highlighting this because it is not necessarily the obvious system that is the most effective, that is most cost beneficial to intervene in. And technology services, as most of you will be aware, doing wonderful things, creating convenience, proximity, affordability, and access to a wide range of services that ordinarily would not be available. So I'm making this episode, or this episode, an intro to the idea. The full version of this would hopefully be put on Facebook and YouTube on devtv.org pages. As you can see, I'm pausing the timer so I don't get cut off. I would appreciate if you include comments and suggestions below. I genuinely want to make this a 90-second blast. Thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.